Okay, so I'm in Gimp and I'm looking at creating an implied texture background in Gimp. So the first thing I did is I went to File, New, and you could go to Template here, looking for US letter right there. You could also just go to Image Size and type in 8.5 by 11 inches. Just make sure it's 300 ppi. Okay, that's what I did here. So I'm going to start off with a solid color background. So I'm going to go up to my color picker, and then I have to go click right there to get the different color options. So let's say I'm going to go with something kind of like this, and I can hit OK. So I'm going to need to go to my paint bucket fill. So that's the color that I'm going to pop in the background there. Okay. And then I'm going to go over here to create a new layer. Okay. And on this new layer, I'm going to start painting with a brush to kind of create some textured effects. So let's see what my brush options. So I have some brush options right here. Also, if I click on this, my brush options will show up down here. So you can see boing boing across the screen here. I have them in two places. So Gimp does have a number of these crazy textured brushes, right, that I can choose from. So let's see. I'm going to look at that one there, the size. I think, you know what, probably easier if I just type it in. I'm going to make this bigger. Maybe even bigger than that. Let's say 1,000. Oh, there we go. Okay, hardness 100. I don't want it like that hard. Let's say 25. Okay, so that it's softer. Whoa, you know what I forgot to do is change my color. So I'm painting with the same color that I have on my background, which is not going to work because you're not going to see it. So I have to click back here and choose some sort of alternating color, contrasting color. There we go. So I'm picking a different color. Not terribly crazy about the way this brush came out. But the nice thing about it, I can just create another layer. So I'll keep that, but I'm going to create another layer and go back over here to brushes and pick something else. And just kind of play around. So I'm going to pick a different brush. Maybe that. And I'm going to have to change the color up again. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So then I can go back into size. Make that bigger again. Bring this down again. Okay. And I can kind of play around with that. If I wanted it to show up a little bit more, then it is. I can play around with this hardness right here so that it's a little more pronounced. Kind of like that. Okay. All right, so I'm kind of layering texture, so you can see it's not just looking flat. And these kind of splattery irregular brushes are really good for that. Okay. So that actually looks kind of interesting. So now I can also go up here to filters and apply filters to this layer that I'm on. So this has artistic filters here. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do, so I can just kind of play around and test it out. You know, said okay. It looks like it's going to take a second. Whoa, that's not what I wanted, right? So I can say cancel. You know, you can go around and play with some more. I don't know what soft glow. Let's try that one. You can play around with the sharpness here. I don't see a really big difference with that one. So sometimes with the filters, it's kind of a matter of playing around with them to get what you want. So another thing we can do, we can go over here, so we're on our layer 1, and this is something that you'll find in Photopea and Photoshop and Gimp, is right over here it says Mode, Normal. We can blend our layers using different modes. So if I want to blend this layer that I'm on here, there's different things I can click on. You see what just happened there. Darken only. Different things you can do to change the mode of how it's blending with the other layers. So some of them, that's very subtle. You don't see it very much. Some of them might be more obvious. But again, it's just something else you can play around with, is the layer blend mode right over here on the right side above your layers, and playing around with the filters. So, I could add another layer. Okay. Go back over here to my brushes, pick another color, and just kind of continuously playing around with layering color using different textured brushes. I could be playing around with the opacity as well. So maybe pick this brush, looks kind of crazy. Okay, the size is really low. Make that size bigger. Oh, that's way too big. Okay. Oh, I'm not terribly crazy about that, but you get the idea. So I can play around with different brushes, layering these different painterly effects, playing around with the filters, and I don't know, what does sparkle look like? I'm not quite sure what that would look like. I can't really see a difference with that one. But I could go through and try, some different ones. Going back over here, as I said, with the layers, with the mode. So we dissolve. I can kind of see that one. Makes it look a little pixelated. But that's what you're doing. You're playing around. I think I like that better. That soft light. Playing around with the brushes, these different layers of painterly effects, using the blend mode and the filters.